censor, deflect, whitewash, cover up, hide, cheat, steal, lie, censor. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when I began to expose massive land swindling in Texas and Arizona and Florida and Utah and California and Hawaii and Alaska and Pennsylvania and Missouri and all over the Carolinas and Tennessee, when I began to expose the massive real estate swindling and real estate scheming of the 1970s and 80s and 90s, leading up to the crash of 2006, 7, and 8, when I began to raise ever-loving hell and expose the massive robbing of trillions out of the banking system, well, the first thing they did was censor me. Yeah, they censored me, all right. They accused me of all kind of BS. You know, John Conley, Whitey Bulger's pal, the former FBI agent, Johnny Conley. Yeah, they made up just a bunch of crap to censor me. Character assassinate me and, cover up the fact that the banks and the savings and loans and the mortgage system was being robbed for trillions. How do you think they finance these illegal, unrecorded, red flag, ghost paper, Ponzi scam real estate developments? How do you think they finance them? Let's ask those producers over at the Con. How does the real estate fraud get financed again? Come on, Eric Vaughn and Patrick Lovell, Christopher Schwecker, Bill Barr, John Ashcroft, Eric Holder, Alberto Gonzalez. How do they finance all this real estate fraud? What's the big trick? Well, let's just put it to you this way, ladies and gentlemen. I got to adjust my britches here. I'm losing my britches. How do you think they censor people? How do you think they cover up and whitewash and conceal and deflect? How do you think it's done? Do you think it's just censorship? Or do you think they just blackball you and ignore you and hide the files and refuse to produce Freedom of Information Act demands, and they hide, cheat, and steal this massive looting of the banks, the S&Ls, and the mortgage companies and the mortgage system? Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the 28 billion reserve note national mortgage bribery that was paid to the Obama administration, $28 billion for a few $1 trillion in fraudulent real estate mortgages and fraudulent real estate notes and fraudulent real estate deeds of trust and, financing for all these crooked real estate deals. So how long have they been censoring old Judd Witham? A long time. And then, of course, you've got the open sewers of America's rivers, the open sewers of Canada's rivers, the open sewers of England's rivers, the open sewers of China's rivers. They don't want the world to understand that they use the river systems to flush vast amounts of sewage to the ocean. These flushing operations are moving all kinds of COVID, Delta, Omicron, all the variants are in the sewage, and they're flushing it right down through thousands upon thousands of communities all over the world. How do you think the COVID's being spread to the bats? Where do the bats get their water and their food? Out of these sewage spoiled creeks, these sewage contaminated rivers, the sewage contaminated, Long Island Sound, New York Harbor, the Hudson River. Every damn river in America is full of COVID, Delta, and Omicron. How about that? Isn't that just fascinating? And they're not censoring that? Of course they're censoring that. The destruction of my parents' marina 5 years in a row from the Flushing to Lake Champlain, censoring? Yeah, they've been censoring people for a long, long time in America. They just blow off the whistleblowers like Laney Brewer there at the Department of Justice when Christopher Schwecker was, They're blocking the prosecution of huge numbers of bank fraud cases that the banks are committing while they're laundering, oh God, the money laundering. They're censoring the money laundering, and you betcha, Robert Leon Jordan, Judge Robert Leon Jordan, Greenville, Tennessee, and the Fourth Circuit and the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. They're blocking it too. They're censoring it. They won't let you win a case against the big bankster gangsters. They're censoring it. The judiciary is censoring it. The corruption in the judiciary is mind-bending. So yes, America, they do. They censor people. And what's coming out about all this censorship? Well, the House Oversight Committee, the Financial Services Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, every freaking news outlet in the world is talking about censorship. Well, what is it precisely they're censoring? All the corruption in the banking system, the mortgage system, the subprime predatory foreclosure racketeering in the courts, hiding all the shit and piss that they're flushing down all the rivers across North America, Canada, British Columbia, Ottawa, Alberta, Calgary, Montreal, Quebec. Come on, they're flushing huge amounts of sewage into the Great Lakes. They're flushing huge amounts of sewage all over China and England and France and Germany. It's going on all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, and the governments, they own the sewers. They're the ones flushing the crap into the rivers and the lakes and the creeks and the estuaries and the intercoastal and the offshore. That's who's dumping all the Delta and Omicron. That's who's spreading it everywhere. Just like the banking fiasco and the mortgage fiasco, it all came from inside the government. And boy, I'll guarantee you what, they want that censored because the campaign contributions to the Democrats, the campaign contributions to the Republicans are in the hundreds of billions. They've been running this racket for decades. Censoring? You think they're censoring people? They've been censoring me for decades. Censorship. Shut that guy up, because if he's right, can you imagine if I'm right? What happens if old Judd Witham's correct? There's an awful lot of people that are going to get prosecuted and go to jail, huh? Top-level politicians like, the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas, the Bidens, and good old Donnie Trump. Mr. Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, and Trey Gowdy at Nelson and Mullins. Trey Gowdy, I got a message for you, Trey Gowdy. You're a con man. We'll be seeing you, Trey Gowdy, and you too, Mr. Donald Trump. And Judge Robert Leon Jordan, shame on you.